What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. I'm back. Sam here with Gab and Maui. Say hello, guys.
Yeah, nagpahinga lang kahapon.
Pahinga lang.
Chill, nagpahinga lang.
Pahinga.
Sobrang
Pasensya na po.
nakapagod. May
Pasensya na po.
NBA na rin eh.
Oo nga, may NBA na. Buti nga,
For
2
for
games ng
for
kahapon.
for game day na naman kasi kaya napagod na naman kami.
You know how we feel about that 4-game day. So, please, UAAP, parang awa mo na, boss. Bawasan na natin yung 4-game day. But, as promised, we will be doing an episode or recording for today. And we are going to talk about all teams. We made sure of that in our new segment that we're doing today. You probably saw it in the title of this video already. We're going to play a game called If You Were the Coach. So, kung ikaw yung coach ng Team X, ano ang gagawin mo? Can be anything, can be any decision tactical, in terms of managing your team or whatever. Anything goes.
It
Basta,
can be in
you were in
it
the...
can be in the future, it can be in the past. So maybe a past decision that you would have changed or a future decisions. Parang ganun.
Yes. Okay, so putting yourselves in the shoes of the coach of the team. So this game or segment is inspired by all the online coaches out there. Alam naman natin yan, yung mga Pinoy. Lalo na kapag natalo yung team nila, whatever team they're cheering for, as soon as matalo yung team na yan, ang daming feedback niyan or comment kung paano, what the coach should have done para napanalo yung team. And I think Maui mentioned, I think it was Coach Topex, di ba, Maui, who mentioned this after like a loss, I think against UP, sabi niya, daming online coaches na naman. So, that's inspired by all those online coaches out there, including us. We are also guilty of this. If you see our thread, every time a team loses, dami din namin comments on the coaches. So, now's our chance. Now's your chance, our listeners. Comment down below. Join the game. If you were the coach, what would you do? Okay? So let's start. We'll cover all teams, but what we're going to do is we're going to follow the standings in reverse. So we're going to go bottom up. So first team on the list, UST. Let's start with you, Gab. If you were the coach of UST, ikaw si Coach Pido. Ano gagawin
If
mo?
I were the coach of UST, I would actually hire a different associate head coach, both for offense and defense. Because honestly, his style of play this season is kind of hindi ko alam sabihin yung getting old or has gotten old. But it's not that creative. Yeah, it's very outdated. That screen and roll with your main guy, post ups with Christian Manaytay, and then no other movement of on the weak side of the ball, on the other side of the ball. Drive and kick. It's just diba, to compensate for a lesser talented roster that and the one he has right now, so for say UST is a lesser talented roster than the rest of the league. You have to be creative and make plays that maybe some misdirection plays or allow some plays that puts your players in better position to score. Because honestly, si Nick Cabanero, when you watch him play, sobrang hirap siya makascore. He's just so good that he's able to score at least 20 points a game. But if you watch UST games, sobrang effort yung UST yung para makascore. Even si Christian Manaytay, it takes a lot of skill and creativity for him to get buckets. And they have difficulty with that. They're pretty small. So sometimes it's hard to score on the inside. They're not that great their wings are not really great shooters, and most of their shots are contested threes. So it's not a recipe for success. So I think Coach Pido get a coach for next season, because we all talked about this previously. This is a lost season for UST. So mukhang season 87 yung year that they will actually ramp up, no, and try to compete. So I want more creative plays from Coach Pido, both offensively and defensively. Yung defensively, maybe try something new. Yung try newer schemes. Obviously, their man-to-man defense isn't working because they're pretty small. They get pounded inside. So that's my take on UST. I'm sure the UST fans, they all, well, they're not all, most love Pido. I mean, he's a legend there. But they also have to admit na yung style ni Pido, yung coaching style, both tactically and maybe interpersonally, it's kind of getting old na rin, no? Baka it's not connecting with the younger guys. And definitely on the court, as you see, it's not connecting yung with the players. It's not leading to wins. They have one win in the season. So yun sa akin. He just needs to get help o yung on the sidelines. Maybe hire Bal David again.
That would be ironic. Getting Bal
What a
David
twist.
Honestly, yung
What a twist.
Bal David was maybe a more modern coach than Coach Pido. So, I don't know, maybe go with Bal David again.
At saka, I would say parang, I don't know, it seems like the players last year, despite the same situation, connected more with Coach Bal than Pido. Maybe it's Coach Pido being the
Yes,
disciplinarian. But we'll see. I mean, when coach, they say that you should give a UAAP coach a chance, a few years, because when he enters, yung recruitment class niya is still not there. I think si Coach Bo Perasol is an example. He wasn't given a chance sa Ateneo before because the players who were in the team were players he was not recruited for system. But yeah, I think ano ba mawawala naman if they look into another talent like offensive coordinator or defensive specialist coach, and also probably somebody who specializes in advanced stats. I think that's something that they can look into. I think in teams have been all of the UAP teams have been modernized. Some teams even have personal chefs like Lasal, UP and Ateneo delve into advanced stats to guide them how they play. So I think if you want to compete, then you have to really be creative and look out there.
And just as aside, no, this is not a knock on Japs Kuan. I know Japs Kuan is kind of the lead assistant of UST, but it doesn't seem like he's had that the resume or the experience to know how to be an offensive or defensive coordinator. At least I don't see it on the court yet. So para sa akin, get more experienced people there. I don't know if Japs Kuan has any prior coaching experience, but I do want to see more creative plays for UST. Sam, or who do we go to next?
Go Maui. Tuloy mo na yung sinasabi mo since you started already.
Yeah, I think we mentioned this before as one of our comments for UST. If I were Coach Pido, my target during the offseason was to win a game. That was not a joke. I think it was meant as a half joke during the press conference. So if I were the coach, this is a time that I would focus on player development. I think they have to look forward into season 87. I think having a record of 1-6 is definitely not gonna make it this season. The playing field is just too tough. You ask teams like Ateneo, they're at 4-4 right now. LaSalle is also at 5-3. So the competition for the fifth and for the final four, the fourth and third set is very tough. So if I were the coach, I would definitely start to focus on the younger players such as Eko Laure, players such as Kenji Doremdes, or even SJ Moore, because you have to look forward into next year. Maybe try to lessen the minutes of the veterans. So yeah, I think that's what I would do right now given their situation.
If I'm the coach, if I'm Coach Pido, I wouldn't have taken the job. Ganun kasimple. You see him on the bench. You see him on the bench. Kita mo ba yung mga reactions niya sa bench?
Pressure niya, pare.
Kita mo ba yung mga reactions sa bench? Parang, Oh my God. Sometimes he gives up, di ba? Pinag-usapan natin to sa chat, di ba? Nakaupo na lang siya, hindi na siya nagko-coach. Pagod na siya. Parang for me, I'm too old for this shit. What I would have done instead was, if I were Coach Pido, I would have taken on the team president, team manager role, a la Bo
Or team
Perasol,
consultant. Parang
team
ganun. Diba?
consultant, a la Bo Perasol. You see how si Coach Bo, he didn't succeed, hindi sila nag-champion sa UP. They hired a better coach. Let's be honest, diba? Coach Gold was a better coach. What did Coach Bo do?
Yeah.
Ako magmamanage ng team. Para pag champion, kasama pa rin ako, diba? So, get all the glory, but no pain, no headaches. Hindi mo na paproblemahan yung pag-coach ng team. Hire a younger guy. A more modern guy. Hindi tayo makagab. But be part of the... I think why they like Coach Pido is syempre the history, di ba? The history behind UST and yung accomplishments niya in the past. And I think putting him as like a team manager or consultant, I think that will also achieve the same effect. Pero him as the coach, I feel bad for him this season. It's obviously a lost season, but we'll see. We'll see. Tama ka naman, Maui. You made a good point. It's probably we'll see the effects of Coach Pido starting next season. That's it for me for UST. Let's move on to the next one. the UE Red Warriors. So si Coach Jack Santiago. Let's go with you,
Yes.
Maui.
Maui, if you were the coach.
If I were the coach, if I were Coach Jack Santiago, I would probably put more a premium on off-court matters with regards to UE. I think it's no secret
Oh,
that
that was mine. I was gonna say that.
I think it's no
Okay, go
secret
ahead,
that
Maui.
there are so many issues happening outside of the playing court with UE with regards to players. Nagrereklamo yung players. I think some parents also are arguing with Coach Jack. I think Coach Jack has done a good job with regards to maximizing the lineup that he has this past 2 years. The problem is some players just get out of UE because of the environment daw outside of the playing court. If they can focus on, if they can fix that, maybe similar to what Sam suggested, maybe somebody should handle player recruitment or the other matters. Then maybe UE can start to revamp really their program. So yeah, definitely that's something that I would look into if I were the coach.
All right, that was a good one. That was mine actually, but I did have a backup. So if I were the coach, if I were Jack Santiago, I would actually look into more doing off-ball stuff for Ray Remogat. Because honestly, he has had it rough in the past few games because teams now are loading up on Ray Remogat. They know that he's the only playmaker on that team. And you saw it in the game yesterday against NU. Naubusan siya ng fourth quarter. I think, Maui, you're the one who messaged this. And I was watching the game through my phone. Ray Mogot was not as aggressive anymore coming to the last 5 minutes. I thought, it's not that I think na he was intentionally not being aggressive. I thought that he was just really tired already. He was being guarded by Jake Figueroa, Kian Bakla, and Steve Nash, Don Lim, alternately throughout the whole game. And not just, lightly guarding him. They were up in his face, really trapping him, blitzing him, and forcing other UE players to make a play. And that has been the story in all of their losses so far. So what are you now? They've lost 5 straight? Tama ba? But have they lost 5 straight or 4 straight games? Something like that.
I think five.
So
Kasi
Something like
they
that.
were 2-1.
Yeah.
Now they're
Yeah.
2-6, correct? 2-6.
Yeah.
They've lost five
So
straight
they've
games.
lost 5 straight. And every time the story is the same. They struggle to create on offense. They struggle to create on offense when either Remogot is not on the floor or either Remogat is just being trapped or being taken out of the play because the opposing coaches know where the ball is going. So other players such as Momaway is forced to make yung dribble drives. Other players are forced to run pick and roll like Jack Cruz Dumont and MJ Langit, but they're not as efficient in those pick and rolls is yung situation. So I would look for maybe something similar that what the Warriors run. Have someone like an Ethan Galang running from the high post, then maybe yung Ray Mogat, you coming up from a down screen of the baseline, and then a cut by Momaway from the weak side. Something like that, no? Kasi sa UE, it's always 4 out, then screen and roll for Ray Mogat, then hopefully if he finds the right pass or makes a shot. That's been their play. And that has proven successful, especially yung last season and early yung this season. But the difference with last season, they had multiple playmakers there. This season, they don't have anyone else except for Mogat. And with the injury to Gerald Wilson, there's just no one else. And if they don't want to battle UST for the last slot in the eliminations, they have to get more creative. It can't just be screen and roll Remogat all the time and expecting Ray Remogat every time to make the right play, to make the right pass, or just make a shot. They're struggling. It's the same story every game. They're struggling on offense. Sam?
Nothing much to add for UE. I think Maui's answer is the best answer. Despite yung record ng UE, they've been, surprisingly decent. Like we expected them to be competitive. Exactly.
Yeah.
Surprisingly
I think that's
competitive.
the most important thing.
And even in the past season, diba, they almost made it to the Final Four. They were also very competitive. So, as when calling the shots for a team, okay si Coach Jack eh. Pero yung mga issues of the court, that has to stop. I mean, akala natin tapos na, 'di ba? But then Delvion apparently, 'di ba? Delvion Jackson left. He was playing with the team sa preseason, and then what happened? It just keeps happening and happening for me. So it has to stop. That has to stop. On the court, I think pleasantly surprising si Coach Jack. I think one of the questions that I raised before is like, how long until Coach Jack leaves UE? Pero you know what? When he coaches a team, UE, they're very competitive. So,
The
no
on-court
issues
product,
there.
Sam, is pretty decent eh.
Yeah. No
Piga.
issues there. And even yung...
Ako sa akin, piga.
And
napipiga niya yung team. Kahit pa paano.
Totoo. And to be fair kay Coach Jack, okay din siya mag-recruit. I mean, they got Villegas, diba? They got like ito, sina Ray Remogat, or even the new guys now, like Cruz Dumont is decent. He's a good role player or a solid player. So, it's just the off-court issues na naririnig natin, which is the problem. So, tama ka, Maui. I agree with you there. Let's move on to our favorite team, or the hottest team, I would say, FEU. Hot na hot from yesterday. Gab,
my God.
if you were Coach Denok Miranda, what would you do?
If I were Coach Denok Miranda, I would just not play Muhammad Fatih. In fairness, but he had a decent game yesterday. I think si Maui yung called it, trust Gio Chu to make Mo Fatih look that good. He actually looked decent yesterday.
Even
didn't
against
grab as much
Basa,
rebound.
in fairness.
Yep, even against
More
Joe
energy,
Obasa, he was pretty decent.
He looked hungrier.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, well, he has you limited more Mo Fatih's minutes as the season has gone on, but I still think they're too much minutes for Muhammad Fatih. When he's on the court, he's just a minus. He can't hit from close range oftentimes. He did yesterday. for some reason against Ateneo. He does. But Miguel Ona and Baguno and Tempra have proven to be more than capable to hold down the front court. They're pretty good, and they showed it yesterday. James Tempra and Ona held their own against Mason Amos and Kai Balungay. They are pretty good big men, quote unquote. They're pretty small, but they're the most decent big men on that team. And to expand on this, if I were Coach Denok Miranda, I would not put Mohamed Fati in the lineup next season. Just, bro, I'm sure.
Agree.
I think one of our FEU subscribers did mention that there are two other foreign student athletes who are on the reserve list for FEU. I would be more interested in those other two because I don't know what they saw in Mohamed Fati. Was it just the height? Because he's 7'1" or 7'2"? Is that what you saw in Mohamed Fati? So I would give the other two guys a try. Diba? So yeah, that's it. I was telling this to my dad yesterday in the game. For next season, they should just say, Mohamed Fati, I'm sorry, you're now a reserve. We're trying the other guy because we need a better presence inside. We need a better foreign student athlete. And I would actually, furthermore, if I were the coach, I would actually recruit more big men. It's mind-boggling to me that he's the only tall guy on this team. You weren't able to recruit any big guy. Your next big guy is Miguel Ona, who's
They have all the marquee recruit na big man.
Yep. But yeah, the next tallest guy is Miguel Ona, who's what, 6'5", 6'4". So that is not a recipe for success. You in the UAAP today, you need tall. As much as how good their guards are, you need big guys. You need tall guys. Centers are getting bigger, wings are getting bigger, and especially the front court, they're getting bigger. So if you want to compete, you can't just rely on purely guards, which they have. They have good guards, but yeah, get a better center, get a better foreign student athlete, and get more big men for next season. That's it for me. Maui.
Yeah. Ako, simple lang. If I were the coach, I'd probably run more motion for Cyrus Torres and Joric Bautista early in the game, not prioritizing 3-point shooting. I think it was shown yesterday that when both guys are able to get buckets even inside the paint, they get hot pretty quickly. Si Cyrus Torres started 0-7 and then he drove the lane, got to the basket, and I think hit a mid-range shot after. Then it was better. Si Joric Bautista also did the same. He hit a few jumpers and then close range jumpers and then was able to get hot no fourth quarter. I think
ganun pag shooter di ba?
Yeah.
You just have to see the ball go in no matter where it's from.
Correct. So I think they have to run a lot of plays for those two early. I think we have a sample size enough to see that when the shooters of FEU struggle, they will lose. If they play a good game like yesterday, then chances are they will win. I think they have to prioritize the other guys for LJ Gonzalez, just because I think LJ Gonzalez can make plays anytime throughout the game. This is also to make sure that LJ Gonzalez doesn't get burnt out. I think nung game against UST, he couldn't really carry the load anymore. The good thing, I think one of the good things against Ateneo was they were leading most of the way with Ateneo just going back and forth, up, down. FEU was up 9, down 1. FEU was up 8, down 2. So yeah, I think definitely if you want to see FEU move up in the standings, then I think other players will have to contribute. I'm not sure if Cholo Onanuevo is still available to come back. There are reports. I think he has a fractured thumb or something. But
It's
I think,
it's definitely a fracture. It's definitely you wouldn't have a cast like that if it wasn't a
yeah,
fracture.
tsaka mukhang thumb kasi the covering is on the thumb. So I think it's really good that they finally have another guy outside Cyrus Torres that can shoot them out of the game. I think they have to take advantage of that. They have to make sure that LJ Gonzalez is fresh during the second half of games. And yeah, really just maybe pray that Cyrus Torres and Joric Bautista are always hot, because that's really been their recipe. Their defense has been splendid the whole season. If their shooters hit their shots, then they can win.
Tama ka ron, Mao. Their defense has been splendid. Just look at the game against Ateneo yesterday. They were all over the court on defense, disrupting every Ateneo action. I talked about their big guys, except Muhammad Fati. They were battling for yung during those post-ups. They were not allowing Ateneo to get any of those post-up actions yung that they got against UP. Well scouted. Kudos to Denok Miranda and perhaps Gab Severino because he was an assistant coach for
Coach
for,
Gab.
for Coach Tab. So I think
Yeah,
he scouted pretty well. In fairness, they were looking for those post ups during
yeah.
that game yesterday against FEU, but FEU denied. They fronted. They were aggressive in denying those post ups, so they were forced to make again those screen and roll plays, those emergency plays at the end of the shot clock a lot more yesterday than what Ateneo did to UP. So kudos to FEU's defense, man. They were amazing yesterday. Sam.
Tsaka yung high post defense nila on Amos yesterday, was the adjustment was really good. Amos couldn't get it going, similar to UP. Tsaka I think
Yep.
it's we have to accept most of the FEU games are grind house games. The lowest scoring games all
Yeah,
happen when it's against FEU. So that's not really,
FEU.
that's a byproduct really also of their defense, their pressure defense.
It's really the offense. It's really the offense talaga.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam.
Okay. First of all, couple of things. First of all, kung ako si Coach Denok Miranda, I am retiring after this season. Para clean slate 2-0 ako against Coach Tab Baldwin, the only coach who has ever done that. I will be in the history books. It's the only coach who has ever done that. That's the first one that I will do. But second, I am really going to kiss LJ Gonzalez and na-mention mo Gab, si Coach Gab Severino. I think that game against Ateneo was more important or more impactful than what people think it is. Why? Because not just because they got a win against probably the hottest team before the start of yesterday's game, coming from a win against UP. But remember, we didn't talk much about FEU, but FEU was coming off a loss from UST. They lost to a 0-19 team, a team that lost 19 straight games. They're one of the bottom teams. They lost to UST. It was an embarrassment for them, and they get to beat the team that beat the number one team. So I think it
Burado.
was yung game na yun was very, very important for everyone's confidence at FEU. So if I'm Coach Denok, I'm thanking LJ, I'm thanking my coaching staff because that sort of saved the season for me for FEU. Imagine if they had lost that game, medyo wala na silang pag-asa. Now they have sort of a puncher's chance of making the Final Four, and it's good to see them coming from that bounce back win against FEU. Sorry, Gab, you want to say something before I go to my
Just more on Gab Severino. Yes, I think Coach Denok should kiss Coach Gabi Severino because he was the one who ran the plays in the end game. I was there in the arena. He was the one who made up those plays.
Sa commentators then they were talking about it. Coach Gabi Severino was calling the plays. Tama, Gab.
It's becoming more common having that associate or associate coach or specialist, di ba?
Parang ano no, parang NFL like may offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, may special teams, ganun. But anyway, my last point for FEU, I agree with Gab. I have to say I agree with Gab. I'm telling Mo Fati, sorry, you're going to the reserve, but you can keep your scholarship, full scholarship until you graduate. Huwag ka na lang bumalik sa sa team, papalitan ka na lang namin kasi they need a better guy. A better FSA next season. I'm sorry. One last thing pala, Maui. Gab, I think you mentioned they need to look for more big men. But I think with what Maui said, they also need to look for more shooters kasi the more shooters they have, the better for FEU kasi we've seen them when their shooters are hot, they can't be stopped. Magandang offense nila, they can go toe to toe with the best teams because they have, you mentioned, they have one of the best defenses kahit anong mangyari. It's really the offense that goes sour, especially if napapagod si LJ. No? So, more big men but also more shooters para if someone is cold, just replace him with another shooter. Ganun kasimple.
Si Rimogat sana. Diba
Let's
Rimogat came from FEU Juniors?
Remogat came from FEU.
Don't
Didn't
worry.
make the team.
Their juniors team is filled with with
Si
talent.
Pasaol.
With talent.
If they don't change schools, FE will be a monster next season.
I think si Coach Denok is involved also, di ba? With the high school team now.
Yes.
Because it's getting crazy. Teams are just getting the players to develop in the high school program. So that's something that Coach Denok really has to look out for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to the next team, probably the most talked about team in the past 24 hours. We're talking about the Adamson Soaring Falcons, and we know what happened yesterday. I think it's just worth mentioning before we talk about what we would do if we were Coach Nash Rosella. Jerome Lastimosa coming back from a partial ACL tear and re-injuring, I think, the same knee during the third or fourth quarter during the second half of the game. Bumping knees with Jerry Abadiano. Wala namang anything malicious.
No malice.
It was just accidental, purely accidental, but I think people in the comment section when we posted yung question of the day natin yesterday, that was the number one reaction that we got. People just feeling sad about what happened to Jerome. So, prayers to Jerome. Still no official statement on the injury, but we're hearing that it's not good. But if you were the coach, Gab, what would you do? Gab, what would you do if you were Coach
Yeah,
Nash
I think
Rosella?
it has to. It's unanimous.
Sinabi mo na eh.
Shut down.
If we were the coach, they should have not have played Jerome Lastimosa.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? Akaawa and frustrating because he should not have been put on that court. They knew that there was a chance this could happen and jeopardize this guy's career. He should not have come back to Adamson. He should have taken whatever pro deal was out there. And when he got injured, they should have told him, get surgery already. Stop it. Why was he even there? Just nakakaawa and seeing him getting carried off the court, ako sobrang frustrated, turn into sadness. I mean, why? This guy is so good. He's so good. And now his career is jeopardized just because I don't know if it was pressure, he pressured himself to come back, or there was external pressure from the team, the school, for him to come back and play on the court. Because baka mag-Final Four tayo ulit, Jerome, o baka mag-finals tayo, kaya natin. Wala eh. There's no such... they have... ewan. Maui.
Yeah, I think si Gab showed yung all of the emotions that we had when Jerome Lastimosa went down yesterday. Definitely, it's a unanimous thing for me. If I were the coach, I wouldn't have played Jerome Lastimosa. It's ludicrous and crazy what they did. This is not a big man like Ange Kwame. Guards have to move around the court. Guards are more lateral than big man. I think they shouldn't have risked uh, Jerome Lastimosa. I don't know. I have to agree, Gab. Maybe there were external pressures, but I think it's also a byproduct of Jerome pressuring himself to come back. It's right now what we can do is only speculate, but it was really it's not a good reflection of the program. This is not a good reflection of any program. They should have prioritized his health over everything and his future. I think, especially since he was already getting an offer. So I don't know. Just prayers up for Jerome Lastimosa. I hope he gets better. I hope it doesn't progress to another ACL tear or an ACL tear to the other knee kasi yan ang tendency eh. I think I commented this sa subscribers natin that when ACL injuries are very tricky because it's the chances of you repeating it, another ACL tear is higher when you already have an ACL tear and uh it's crazy. I mean, paano na ngayon si Jerome, 'di ba? I mean, he has a family to feed. I think he mentioned this during the off season. Just prayers up. I hope he gets better. Yung silence is not good. I think this was shown nung off season when they were not saying ano yung injury. The silence is definitely not good. I think it's not good. Yun lang.
Yeah. I want to jump off that point, Maui. Yesterday, nangyari na eh, di ba? So, yesterday, after the game, during the post-game interview, he was obviously asked that question, asked about what happened to Jerome, any updates. More or less, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know what exactly he said, but more or less what he said was, no comment. I don't want to comment on that. And you know what? Before the game yesterday, they overachieved. And we were praising Coach Nash Rosella for what he has done to this Adamson team this season, despite losing Jerome, despite losing Duanga and Manlapas. They've been very competitive. Talk about a competitive team like UE. They've also been very competitive. But tama ka, Maui eh. The first injury happened, they were radio silent. Tagal bago, puro chismis lang naririnig natin. We were
Ginamit pa nilang
hearing
ano
it
eh, parang
from Twitter.
strategy, 'di ba?
Oo. And
It's
then
crazy.
yesterday I was so disappointed to find out na parang wala siyang sinabi. He just dodged the question. So for me, if I were obviously the unanimous answer here is I shouldn't have played Jerome Lestimosa. But I want to add something to that. If I were Coach Nash Rosella, I should have taken accountability yesterday after the game. No matter, sabi nyo nga, maganda yung point nyo, it could have been outside pressure from the community. It could have been pressure from admin, from the coaches, from other players. It could have been just Jerome forcing himself on the team. Kasi he feels like he owes the Adamson, the community, he owes the team everything. Fine, whatever. Whatever forced Jerome to play there, Coach Nash Rosella should have taken accountability after that game. When he had that injury again, he re-injured that knee and he was asked, just take accountability for it. I think that would have been the right thing that he would have, whatever the injury was, di ba? Na, I shouldn't have played him. If he had said that, then, wala masyadong speculation. People wouldn't have talked about it. So, before yesterday's game, really loved what Coach Nash was doing, but this is a big blemish to this season for Adamson.
Yeah,
A bit disappointed.
this could be their
And
turning
obviously
point
sad for
for
Jerome.
me.
Yeah.
They also lost a big badly against UP. I think this is the most points that Coach Nash has lost in any UAAP game he has coached. So everything is going down from what happened yesterday. This could be a turning point in Adamson's season.
A wrong turn. A
Yeah, a
wrong
wrong turn.
turn.
Wrong,
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely a wrong
For the
turn.
worst.
A turn for the worse.
Talking about turning points, let's turn to the next team, your favorite team, the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Turning point kayo dyan after that UP game. Ha? Anong masasabi nyo ngayon? Maui, if you were the coach,
Ay,
anong masasabi mo
nako.
ngayon?
Yeah, I
Maui,
think
go.
if I were the coach, uh, so if I were coach tab, I would not play Gio Chu minutes against teams that really run
Sabi ko
are
na ba
fast
you would
teams.
go there?
I think yesterday was proven that Gio Chu really struggles with teams who have speed. Maybe games against LaSalle, games against UP where they have more big men, maybe he gets minutes. But when he's matched up against faster and smaller big man, he really struggles. I think Gio Chu was really disappointed most of the Ateneo fans. I don't know if there is an Ateneo fan na hindi disappointed with what Gio Chu is showing this season. The promise was there. And it's been two off seasons. Two off seasons mo na kami nabubudol, Gio Chu. We've been big fans of you ever since, and we've been expecting a lot the past two seasons, given your given your production outside the UAAP. I think it's time that Ateneo has minimal options because they opted not to put Kyle Ong in the roster, which is something we said before. So yeah, I think another thing I'm really confused why Gab Gomez is not getting minutes. I think that's another thing I would say. If I were the coach, I would definitely put Gab Gomez in. I think yung experience niya, especially yesterday, would have helped Ateneo really stabilize portions of the game. Him losing playing time and all the speculations, he's sick, he's injured, I don't know. It's really confusing to all the fans right now. I'm not sure why Gab Gomez is not getting any minutes. There are spurts that he does not look good. There are spurts that he looks good. But we really thought that Gab Gomez would have been that player, that guard who would have gotten those consistent minutes. Considering he really performed well also nung finals last season. So yeah, I think at the top of my head, those are the two things that I would look into right now.
Ako, if I were Coach Tab, and I love Coach Tab, I give him the benefit of the doubt. But I would, put some guys yung in the weight room. That's just freaking Kai Balungay. How can you freaking be outpositioned by James Tempra and Miguel Ona? Diba? How can you not just box out and try to get those post-ups? He was significantly outplayed by FEU's forwards, who are much smaller than him. I don't get it. Also, Ian Espinosa, I'm sorry, but I know he played well yesterday. We were talking right before we came on. He actually played well yesterday. But when he's on the court, you can see the drop in Ateneo's play. And he gets pushed out of position a lot of times, especially on offense. For a small guard, he's not that fast. Weirdly enough, for a very diminutive guard, he's not fast. He can't blow by defenders. I would think about going with Gab Gomez again. And Gab Gomez is a better shooter than Ian Espinosa. Ian Espinosa is not a knockdown shooter. And just work on conditioning as well. It seems like naubos sila versus UP. That's
Yeah,
how it felt to me
definitely.
when I was
Definitely.
watching the game yesterday against FEU. They look so sluggish. They look like they didn't want to be there. Honestly, all of them. They were getting out hustled. Every 50-50 ball, every loose ball was going to FEU. Not because, they weren't boxing out or anything. Just they weren't going after it. In the fourth quarter, FEU had I don't remember the stats, but they had a ton of offensive rebounds, and it was guys just staring at the ball, like, bro, get after it. It just seemed like they were checked out yesterday. It seemed like they were fatigued. It was just weird because you should have worked on your conditioning. So,
Yeah.
yun.
I think yung comment ko dun is I think when Ateneo won against UP, we mentioned that Coach Tab went with a tighter rotation nung UP game. So that really played a big part on the key players really not having that level, that gas to go against FPU was really hungrier yesterday. I guess they're motivated by their loss against UST. Yeah.
And also, you talk about not playing someone. If I were Coach Tab, I would stop playing Andrew Bongo. I don't get you what he sees in him. Maybe defensively, he's a tall guy. He can switch a lot, but offensively, nothing. He can't freaking shoot for a 3 and D player. I mean, okay sana if maganda yung linya ng mga tira niya, pero hindi eh. Di ba? His shot mechanics are not good at all. He doesn't release it at the height of his shot, and it shows. His shots are always short. Oftentimes, air ball. I would go with actually Sean Tuanyo. If he was gonna play a wing, I think they need his aggressiveness. We talked about this in the preseason. Sean Tuanyo is kind of like a scoring forward. He does have
Tunnel vision.
Yung tunnel vision at times.
Blinders.
He looks to score, but I think in this lineup, you need someone who looks to score. Because honestly, aside from Chris Kuhn, none of the players on the court look to score. And maybe you need someone like Sean Tuanyo to make plays and get buckets. I don't know. Bonga was pretty frustrating yesterday. And he has been pretty frustrating for the whole season. Sam?
I agree. Biggest question pa rin, and we've been talking about it, is like, why is Gab Gomez not playing? That's still one of the biggest questions. And I if I were the coach, sasagutin ko rin yung mga fans. Ba't nga ba hindi naglalaro si Gab Gomez? We expected him to play this season coming from last season. Siya na yung vet point guard eh. So it's a bit surprising that he's still not playing. I think it's just worth trying him out there unless there really is an injury or whatnot. If just to add, if I were Coach Tab, alam mo, Maui, yung sa mga, ewan ko sa dad mo or Gab sa dad mo, but like sa sa Viber daw ng dad ko, may secret weapon daw tinatago si Coach Tab. Nagkukunwari lang yan. Nagtatago ng players yan. If I'm Coach Tab, ilalabas ko na. If I'm Coach Tab, ilabas mo na. If it's Sean Tuanyo or whoever, we need
all
we
in
need
na.
to take
Diba
them
yung
out.
sabi natin?
Kasi, exactly. I think you have to go all in because more or less, anong magic number, Mao, to make it to the Final Four? Like
10.
They're not
5 losses?
they're not getting that twice to beat.
8. 8 is usually the magic number. So that's 4.
But they're
out of
not
the
getting
last
the twice
16.
to beat anymore.
Yeah, kasi
they're
yung
not
magic
getting-
number,
Highly
we mentioned
unlikely.
this. Yeah, we mentioned this, diba, Gab, during the previous episode. The magic number to get the twice to beat is usually 10. So they have to sweep the next 6 games to lock the Final Four slot.
They also have to hope
To get the
that
to get the twice to beat
seconds.
advantage pala, sorry.
Yeah.
you also have to hope that either UP or NU lose 3 or more games, which
Yeah.
is unlikely.
I don't think. Yeah.
Half
Unless may mangyari.
of their games, diba, bale? 6 games to go na lang for all the teams.
and you know why I would panic if I were Ateneo? I think, Maui, you tweeted this before. I've seen this before. Ito, last season, nakita ko na yung ganitong performance in another team. And really, this Ateneo team reminds me of LaSalle last season. LaSalle beat all like the good teams last season, but then would just lose to lower tiered teams. They would lose. They lost to UE twice last season. I forget the other. Adamson without Jerome, I think, beat them. I've seen this story before, and it's the end. I don't like the ending. So if I were Coach Tab, lalabas ko na lahat ng I'm showing all my cards, all in na we need to save the season if I want to
Desperation
make
time
it
na.
to the
Yeah.
final four, or yeah, to the finals, or even just the final four, diba? So that's it for me for Ateneo. Let's go to our next team. A team that has bounced back after a loss to UP. Uh, and has claimed, because of that Ateneo loss yesterday, has claimed the solo third spot. Let's talk about the LaSalle Green Archers. Maui. If you were Coach Topex, gagawin mo.
Yeah, probably if I were Coach Topex, I'll get them a meditation coach. I think yung Lasal has to really learn how to relax, especially during the crunch time. I think there are spurts in the game that they don't look composed at all. Especially pa pag if Evanelli is off the floor, I think they really have to work on that part of their game. I think they have the talent from top to bottom, probably the strongest team in terms of talent. Uh, Second to UP. I think it's really about controlling their emotions, learning how to play in the rough. They have to work on this. I think even in season 85, ito yung problema ng Lasal. They just crumble when the pressure comes. They have the talent, but they don't have the composure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, yung sorry about that. I disappeared. Nature came calling. But if if I were Coach Topex, if I were the coach of LaSalle, I would give and funnel more minutes to Raven Cortez. I think
Agree.
he has
Yeah,
proven
agree.
these past two
Hell
games
yeah.
he is
Hell yeah.
more than offensively and defensively capable than Bright Noanco, and even to an extent Mike Phillips. You were talking about this, Sam, I think last season.
Hell
I
yeah.
think one of our topics was a guy you would want to see play more, and you brought up
Yes.
si Raven Cortez. Diba? One, he has the height. So he's not he's not small. He's not fast, but he can keep up. And he has a soft touch around the rim. He has an outside shot. He doesn't shoot free throws that horribly. Uh,
And
he's
he's a good
not that.
defender, decent defender.
He's a
So he
good
plays
defender.
both
He's not
ends of
that
the
weak
floor.
of a. Yeah, he's a good shot blocker.
Maganda chemistry
I don't get why you.
with KQ.
I don't get why Bright Noanco gets minutes over him. I mean, because Bright Noanco is more athletic, stronger, but I think Craven Cortez has the skills. What? This is now his pang ilang season niya to. He was there in season 84. So this is his third season. I think Coach Topex would be better suited to funnel more minutes to him. And as much as Mike Phillips is the guy at center, I do think at times he gets a bit exposed, no? Especially offensively. He gets exposed with these limitations there. And yung Raven Cortez is a much polished offensive player than either Mike Phillips or Bright Noanco. So yeah, I mean, he had his breakout game against UE last Saturday. And we saw his bag. We saw the way he can play. And we saw his chemistry with Kevin Kiambao.
Even the game yesterday, no? But I think Mike Phillips wasn't there, no? Tama ba? Mike Phillips wasn't there?
Yeah.
During the game
Well,
yesterday.
it was against UST. So baka may asterisk yun, Maui. Yung alam mo naman yung UST. Yung pang malaki ka, yung makascore ka sa UST eh. So, that I count that game with an asterisk, but look into the game against UE, you see where he can be a positive on the court. He has these medium range floaters he can go to. He has a decent mid-range shots. He can finish. Despite his lanky frame, he can finish inside. And ako, why not give this guy more leeway? I really don't get Bright Nuanco versus Raven Cortez. I think it's miles away yung Raven Cortez is the more talented player. Sammy or Maui?
Gab, everything you said times two. I've I've been a big fan of Raven Cortez ever since you mentioned it already. I was super happy nung nakita ko UE game, pinasok siya and he scored like those points early. Sabi ko, yes, finally, pinapalaro na si Idol. Kasi, you know what, I'm surprised even during the preseason, hindi ko siya masyado napanood. Although, to be fair, I didn't get to watch a lot. But I've been very surprised why he's not getting minutes. And I think dapat ngayon nga, he should be getting the minutes now just so that he can get reps also. Because, he hasn't had a lot of minutes even in the past season. So I'm glad for the past two games he has been playing a lot, and I hope he continues to play because I think he's a solid two-way big man for LaSalle. And talk about a guy that doesn't have to be fast, diba? Like Jiu-Chu, you don't have to be fast, but you can still make an impact. So just watch Raven Cortez. I love this guy. Play him more time. Give him more playing time.
Gio2 is not having a good Boleros episode right now.
I'm a big fan of Gio Chu. Ateneo High School galing yan. I support him. I wish him all the best. Let's move on. Let's talk about the NU Bulldogs. Gab, if you were Coach Jeff Napa,
I think you all know what I'm going to say. I think you all know I've been saying this since the freaking preseason.
Yep. Go ahead.
I still think PJ Palacelo is under freaking utilized. I can't understand why Coach Jeff Napa does not see the potential in using him as a offensive hub. He has post moves. He's very crafty inside. He has a mid-range. He proved in the off season that he has an outside shot. I don't think he has the license to take it. Why? I don't know. I think you'd want to stretch the floor, Jeff Napa, owing to your lack of shooting. So you have a big guy who can shoot. Maybe you can tell him, shoot more. So I don't get this. NU, much like FEU, has an amazing defense. I think that's what they did. Excellent defenders. They rotate and they play hard on defense. Jake Figueroa, who was my one of my top MVP candidates, just watch our previous episode. It's a
good
menace
pick, by the way. Good pick.
Yep. And they need an offense to accompany that great defense. As shown in the UP game in the first round, offense is still their problem. They cannot generate enough offense to keep up with a top team like UP. And most likely than not, it looks like we're going to a UP-NU finals. And if they're going to face UP in a best of three finals, they have to get it done on the offensive end. And I think one of the ways to do it is to give PJ Palacelo more leeway. I sound like I sound like a broken record. Parang every episode na lang, I'm shouting out my boy, PJ Palacelo. Because I really think he's that good. I really think he's a star in the making. So yun, you guys know it. You all know what I'm gonna say. Maui.
Yeah, I think you said it best, Gab. I think one of the subscribers even mentioned si Palacelo was the one that unlocked yung way how to beat UP because he played really well as that foreman during the game against UP. But yeah, I think they have nowhere to go. Si Padrones is out for the season. Definitely, they have to give Palacelo more minutes. I think every game he has those few highlight plays that, or maybe it's highlight plays for me. Kasi it's Gab always mentions Palacelo. So napapansin ko talaga.
He can play make as well. If you watch the game, he can pass. He can pass out of the post, pass out of the high post.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think PJ Palacelo is really skilled. But if I were the coach of NU, if I were Coach Jeff Napa, it's time for me to buy my new Starbucks tumbler. They have
Oy,
won five straight
Maui,
games.
inagawan mo ako ng ano,
They have
inagawan
won
mo ako
five
ng
straight
sugat.
games. It looks like most of their players are starting to peak. Sila Figueroa, sila Manansala, starting to play. Palacielo is also starting to play well. Si Gab mentioned during our previous episode, even si Humamoy is showing signs. I think NU is starting to peak. Maybe that NU against UP matchup is something that we have to look forward to. But I think Jeff Napa can now relax a bit. Maybe he has to work on yung development of some of other players to really prepare for a team such as UP, who has a lot of depth. I think that would be key to them, especially with the loss of Padrones. So yeah, NU has been a pleasant team this season. I love watching NU. NU is a very well-oiled machine, in my opinion. It's a team that reminds me of yung early Tab Baldwin teams where 30 Ravenna was still not the alpha dog. Any player can be a player of the game. How can you not love that if you're a part of the team? And it's an equal opportunity lineup. Anyone can break out. And si Figueroa showing the past few games that it's really possible as long as you do your work and try your best. So yeah, I think Coach Jeff deserves to get his new Starbucks tumbler.
I agree, but actually, Maui, for me, ang sagot ko is, if I'm Coach Jeff Napa, I'm gonna stay mad. Alam niyo yung personality ni Coach Jeff Napa, I don't think he's ever happy. And I think it's
Parang Coach
been
Tab yan
working. Parang Coach Tab, exactly. Medyo same personality sila.
Yeah,
So if I'm Coach Jeff Napa,
very
I'm going to
intense.
stay mad because ever since he got mad at his team, the team has responded. And as you mentioned, different players have performed well. Yes, the thing though is, what I've noticed is past two games, they were actually close games. So I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure if Coach Jeff Napa was happy with their performance yesterday and against Adamson nung weekend. Both close games that went down the wire basically in the last 1 minute, last 2 minutes. Just goes to show na they're composed. This is a composed team. This is a well-oiled machine na even in close games, they can find a way to finish strong and get the W. But I'm pretty sure si Coach Jeff, knowing him, galit pa rin yan. And I would stay mad and keep running a tight ship, kumbaga. You mentioned playing more of the other guys. I think kahapon ba yon? Like I saw who's the other big man? Hindi si Drex, si Gulapa. Gulapa also got like
Joe
playing
Gulapa.
time.
He's actually a junior now or a senior. He's been in the program for a long time na.
Ay, ganun ba? Akala ko rookie lang yun.
Yeah.
Akala ko rookie lang yun. Okay, so other bench guys got to play yesterday. So I think that's also a good sign because
He's preparing for UP.
Exactly. And I think si Don Lim, we don't get to talk about him that much, but I think past few games he's been playing Don Lim more and he's been performing. So shout out to Don Lim then. Sorry,
because he's a shooter and they need shooting, and he's one of the guys who can shoot it.
Shooters.
Meron din siyang mid-range. Meron siyang favorite move.
Yep. And I was just gonna add, we're talking about NU versus UP because it seems like that's gonna be the finals matchup. Possession by possession, it looks like UP has the advantage skills-wise and talent-wise, except for one. And Mason Amos and Kai Bulungay kind of exposed this in their game against UP. UP's 4 slot is not that capable. They're not that big, they're not that strong. And if you put PJ Palacielo at power forward, he can take advantage of that weakness. He's the only guy who presents a mismatch for UP. He showed this even in the game against UP in the first round. Francis Lopez and the other power forwards of UP cannot guard this guy in the post. He's too big and strong. And Mason Amos showed it in the previous game against UP.
Even
You put these
even
guys. Oh, go.
even nung first game against Adamson, I think yun yung first game ng UP nung first round.
Manzano.
Cedric
Yeah,
Manzano
exposed them.
ate up all the PFs of the big men of UP. So yeah, good point, Gab. Go ahead.
Oh, so yun, I'm still waiting for Coach Jeff Napa to realize that PJ Palacelo yung is the key to them winning the championship. I'm still waiting. Listen, if you look at all the statistics, he's amazing in very limited minutes as a backup to Omar John. He's amazing. So just give him more run. Please. I want to see it. I want to see the breakout. Okay. Let's go to our last team, Sam.
Last team to close it off, the best team so far, UP Fighting Maroons with a convincing bounce back win over Adamson yesterday. Any thoughts, Maui?
Yeah, I think ito yung, if you read social media, ito yung common theme ng UP after yesterday game. I think Coach Gold has solidified yung UP. I think in first round they showed that despite the meltdown against Ateneo, they have showed that they're the number one defensive team, the number one offensive team. So they're really dominant and scary. I think it's time for him to really give more minutes to other players. The key recruits, Seven Gagate, si Pablo, and si Belmonte definitely deserves a lot of minutes. And it's not just for this year. It's not just for their development. It's for them to ensure that these players don't transfer. I think I saw something online. Si LA Andres reposted yung game-winning shot ni LJ Gonzalez against Ateneo. So is LJ Gonzalez? So is LA Andres now rumored to transfer to FEU? I don't know, maybe, but it's a possibility. I think UP has to show that they have plans for all of their key recruits. They have to give some run to the other marquee recruits. They're a very capable team. I think playing some of these guys with some of the veterans will do them wonders down the road and in coming seasons to come. So yeah, I think with a very comfortable looking lineup, I think he has to start to mix and match. Definitely.
Ako, it's along the same lines as you, Maui, but I think it's a lot harsher. If I were Coach Gold, if I were the coach of UP, I would tell yung mga bata ko, okay lang mag-transfer na kayo. Kasi, listen, I was having this discussion with one of our subscribers who was pretty active in the comments two videos ago. Take a guy like Cyril Gonzalez. Cyril Gonzalez has proven since last season that he's a good guard. And I think put himself on a starting position in another team, he's a star. I think he's that good. He's a good defensive player. Last year, that was kind of his role, to guard the opposing star guard of the other team. Yeah. Offensively, he can shoot. He has the floater game. He can drive to the basket. He's pretty quick. So I think give him a starting role and he's a star. Now, on this UP team, from getting rotation minutes last season 85, he's barely touching the floor. He's barely touched 5 minutes per game. Just because there's so many recruits, there's so many guards. There's so many guards on this team. Yung wala pang si Terence Fortea. And it's not looking brighter next season. Just look at the guards they have lined up for guards and wings they have lined up next season. Felicilda's still gonna be there. Abadjano, Fortea, Jared Bahay, Josh Coronel is gonna play on the perimeter. I'm forgetting some other players. Si Harold Alarcon, assuming he doesn't go, it's more likely yung that he's gonna stay. Other wings, yung Chico Briones, who mostly plays yung as a wing, is still gonna be there. I'm forgetting. Si Hubilia, that's already 8 players, and I think they have more. And then there's Gonzalez. So 9 guys completing for 2 or 3 spots. He's not gonna get minutes again next season. So ako talaga, if I were Coach Gold, if I'm really watching out for sa mga bata ko, sabihin ko, alam mo, Cyril, okay lang, yung lipat ka na. Kasi next
Basta
season,
sa UAAP.
hindi ka rin makakalaro.
Basta hindi UAAP,
Either sa UAP or or sa NCAA. It doesn't matter. Just go to another team, magiging star ka doon. Because diba, it's gonna be what? His 3rd season, he's gonna be riding the bench again next season. Same thing for Seven Gagate. I had this discussion also with one of our commenters in previous videos. It's not looking good for Seven Gagate. He's a center. Next season, Gani Stevens is gonna be there. Sean Alter is still gonna be there. Luis Pablo is gonna be there. And they recruited the center from Guangming, si Ududo. So, is he gonna play? No! Again! So, if I were Coach Gold, alam mo, Seven, okay lang. Lipat ka na sa ibang school or yung ibang liga, maging starting center, gano'n mo yung maging star ka.
Isang jeep lang sa Ateneo. Katipunan jeep lang.
Di mangyayari.
Di mangyayari.
Yung na lang,
kasi
FEU, walang big, di ba?
FEU. FEU. Bulungan ni Denok yan.
So, para sa akin yun eh. Kasi, honestly, kawawa yung mga guys that are buried on UP's bench eh. It doesn't look good for them now, and it doesn't look good for them in the future as well. So, if I were Coach Gold, tell your boys, it's okay. We're good here. We have enough talent. You can go elsewhere. Sam?
Good points. I think those were 2 very good points, Maui and Gab. Different angles lang, but more or less the same message. Iba talaga when you're the best team in the UAAP. Wala masyadong kailangan ayusin eh. Wala masyadong problema. Ang problema mo is, how do I give all of my players enough playing time? Ganun yung basically what we're trying to say. UP is so good. Wala nang kailangan baguhin. Ang problema mo is, how do you give all your star recruits playing time? So let's end it there. What are your thoughts to all our listeners and subscribers out there? If you were the coach, what would you do for your team? Comment down below. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. We'll see you again this weekend. It's going to be another crazy weekend because we're going to have on Sunday, well, first of all, Saturday, LaSalle versus NU. And on Sunday, Ateneo versus UP round 2. Ito, legit Battle of Katipunan kasi sa Araneta Coliseum naman tayo magkikita. So, kita-kita ulit. This Sunday, this weekend.
Hindi ko alam kung kasing confident na ulit eh. Parang
grabe
yung confidence ko yung nag-bottom out eh.
Roller coaster of emotions dahil dito sa Ateneo na to. We'll see.
Look at the bright side. At least Ateneo already has 1 win against LaSalle and UP. Whatever happens this season, we can say that.
Draw na eh, no? Draw na for this season. Thank you guys. See you.
See you.